everyone. Welcome back as we embark on another riveting journey of self-discovery and understanding. All right, brace yourselves, for we are about to plunge headfirst into the labyrinthine depths of our subject today, the enigmatic world of how a narcissist grapples with the aftermath of a breakup. Yes, we're about to peel back the layers of this intricate puzzle, aiming to fathom the unfathomable. Join me on this intellectual expedition as we dissect the very fabric of their post-breakup psyche. You see, narcissists, those masters of duality, often commence their entanglements by weaving a tapestry of idealization around you. They'll shower you with affection as if they hold the keys to your heart's desires, making promises that rival the grandeur of ancient legends. Yet hold your breath, for the plot thickens as they metamorphose into agents of deceit, orchestrating smear campaigns that would give Machiavelli himself pause for thought. It's a dance between love's sweet serenade and deception's bitter embrace. As I've mentioned before, navigating these tempestuous waters can be akin to trying to tame a storm. Sometimes it's tempting to imagine that an entity like the World Health Organization should monitor their chaotic impact on our lives, as if they were a contagion in need of containment. So, if you find yourself nodding in agreement, consider giving that like button a gentle tap. It's our silent pact, our signal in this voyage of enlightenment. So what happens to a narcissist after a breakup? You might think that they're devastated, especially if you've gone no contact, or they've blocked you on social media and their phones. Typically, they initiate the breakup to leave you hanging without closure, so they can return whenever they want. Sometimes, though, you beat them to it and end things first. You realize the relationship was heading south, and you sent them packing. Good for you, by the way. But here's the thing. Narcissists initially believed you were their savior. When you two got together, they saw you as the solution to all their problems. However, how can you possibly be the answer when they have a multitude of issues and inner demons controlling them? You're not a miracle worker, after all. They require years of therapy and maybe a few exorcisms, not a relationship with you. Now, back to discarding. What truly shakes a narcissist, what they can't handle, is when you become unbothered. You stop giving them the attention and control they crave. Remember, these folks are essentially overgrown children. So when we talk about discarding, we're talking about dismantling the very core of a narcissist's being. And the one thing they can't handle is you becoming unbothered. After everything is said and done, listen, I want to emphasize something. Narcissists have no response to this. They have no answer. Oftentimes, we assume that when we're discarded and we initiate no contact, the narcissist is devastated. We think they're just as hurt and upset as we are. But here's the truth. They have other sources of attention, and they'll move on. They'll quickly shift their focus to someone else. However, let's be clear about something important. A narcissist won't give you closure. They don't want that door to be closed. Closure implies a closed door, but when you take the initiative to discard them first and then go completely no contact, when you become unbothered, meaning you couldn't care less about what they're doing or who they're with, that's what stumps them. They have no response to this because they need you to care. Even if you're not with them, they want you to post on social media about all the terrible things you're going through, about your feelings, and so on. That's why we advise you to stay off social media for a while and not let the narcissist know what's on your mind after the discard. They'll try all sorts of tricks, like creating fake profiles or sending friend requests from suspicious-looking accounts with only a few posts. But what a narcissist can't handle is apathy. They can't handle you simply not caring, saying, I just don't care about what you do, what you eat, or whether you eat at all. They're defenseless against this. It's what destroys them because it hurts their ego to the core. It doesn't matter if they discarded you first. Yes, they may feel in control to some extent, but when they can't see your social media posts, can't contact you because you've blocked them everywhere, and then when you do reappear on social media, you look like you're living your best life, well, that's when they suffer. Some of you may have encountered narcissists in your families or have children with them. You might find yourself in a situation where you're emotionally detached, showing no reaction to their antics. This practice is known as gray rocking, and it can be remarkably effective. When you treat them like they're insignificant, it's like saying, "You're just a passing thought. You don't affect me." For a narcissist, this is one of the worst things that can happen, especially if you were their previous source of supply. After they move on to a new supply, you suddenly become more attractive to them again. It might sound unbelievable, but it happens. They might start trying to reconnect just weeks or even days into their new relationship. However, when you genuinely become unbothered by their behavior, it leaves them baffled. They can't handle the idea that you no longer care about them or what they do. Narcissists need you to care. It's part of their game. So, becoming emotionally detached post-discard is devastating for them. When you display no emotion and remain completely uninterested in their actions, it signifies that they've lost you for good. This realization is something they dread because narcissists always want to keep the door open to return, like a queen on a chessboard. They want to maintain control. But becoming unbothered by their antics takes that control away from them. It's a powerful response that can either feed their obsession or, in many cases, wound their egos so deeply that they walk away. It's a significant narcissistic injury that they often can't recover from. Please share this information with anyone who might find it useful. It's important to understand that even after a narcissistic discard and going no contact, the key to dismantling their power is your unbothered attitude. Stay strong and remember that healing and thriving are possible. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel for more valuable insights. Thank you for your support and take care. This is why the narcissist desperately needs you. Discover the disturbing truth. Everyone, I have something to share with all of you. If you've ever dealt with a narcissistic person, you know how challenging it can be. These relationships can feel like a prison, where you're trapped and obligated to be a part of something that's slowly consuming you. It's not easy, and it's okay to struggle. You might be wondering why narcissistic people seem to always be angry, no matter what. Even when you've done everything in your power to make them happy, they still find a way to get angry. It's almost like winning is impossible in these relationships. But why? It all boils down to the fact that narcissistic people don't like relying on anyone, including you. They need validation, support, care, and companionship. But they hate the idea of needing someone to provide these things. They fear that any need they have would make them appear weak and vulnerable. To maintain their sense of superiority, they strive to be grandiose rulers of the world, above basic human needs. But deep down, they do need you. A lot. This need contradicts their perfect self-image, leading to shame and anger. If they sense their need for you, they lash out. It's almost like when your toothbrush suddenly gains a life of its own and starts doing things on its own. You wouldn't be pleased about it. But you're not just a thing to them. You're a human being, which triggers their shame and fear of dependency. Ending a relationship with a narcissistic person can be catastrophic because they lack the ability to understand emotions beyond their own. They fear any need they might have and strive for perfection to avoid appearing weak. This fear of vulnerability and dependency leads to constant anger and frustration. If you're struggling to deal with a narcissistic person, it's okay. Remember, you are not there to satisfy their every need. They need you just as much as you need them, even if they won't admit it. It's time to take care of yourself, put on that mask, maintain a healthy distance, and acknowledge your worth. Stay strong, and thank you for your time. As you might have noticed, these individuals can't seem to take a compliment or acknowledge when you meet their expectations. Instead, they become angry because your actions remind them of their dependence on you. It's almost like a vicious cycle where they need you more than you need them, and the more you do for them, the angrier they become. The asymmetrical balance in these relationships is the root of the problem. You end up doing more for them, and they resent their reliance on you. Doing less or withdrawing from these relationships is not an option either because they will criticize or demand more, triggering their shame even further. It's crucial to recognize that you are a constant source of shame for these individuals, especially if you're spending a lot of time with them. The fact that they depend on you is what makes these relationships so toxic. Your ability to meet their needs becomes almost an obligation, and you're left feeling like you're walking on eggshells around them. Even if you think you have a clear understanding of what they need, there's always something more, and you can't ever truly satisfy them. The neediness of these individuals can be draining, making these relationships more frustrating as time goes on. It may start with accommodating their needs, but it gradually escalates over time, leading to a vicious cycle of despair and resentment. Remember, their unspoken need for validation always comes back. Thank you all for your time. Take care.